What's up, you bunch of weirdos?
Good Lord.
You like to get weird? Do you like to feel real uncomfortable? That's what this show's all about. You came to the right place. It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast. Frank Green, zooming from parts unknown. I'm Scott Clark, zooming from the Murder Nap Studios here in Kentucky. Anna, if you'd like to reach the show, it's gonna get weird369 at gmail.com. We are available on Twitter at GetWeirdPC. We're available on Facebook. We're available on Instagram. And do us a favor, write, review, share, tell a friend, download us. We love it, and we thank you all for joining us. And we're gonna have a great show today, or tonight, I should say. We haven't done this during the day, have we, Frank?
Back in the day, before we were online, before we were published,
Before the internet.
before we were published, we definitely did some during the day.
We used to make cassette tapes and send them back and forth to each other. Remember, you actually did used to make cassette tapes and put funny names on them. Love songs for fat people. I still love them. It's better than Bob O'Reilly sent me a CD one time and said, "Big Dummy Force Fuck." I was like, Jesus, that's aggressive. Such a weird dude.
Well, hold on. There's a sex position. It's called the alligator fuck house. It's when you get a girl and then you're like right before you're laying on her on the back flat and you're ramming her and she's all, you give it to me. And then you, right as soon as you come, you fucking reach around and you fucking put her in the hold and you just like do a death roll like an alligator. Ah! There's something called a Bosnian Seesaw.
I gotta know what this is.
I can't remember what it is.
It can't be any worse. Yeah. You remember the mahogany canoe?
No.
It's where you take a shit, freeze it, and then use it as a dildo. The mahogany canoe.
Like Diane.
This episode brought to you by Whirlpool. No, Whirlpool ice makers.
Hardwoods, tonewoods.
Oh God! We already started up with something funny that works, but we also like to, Frank and I like to say, what's the funniest thing that you saw or heard, or something recently that made you laugh this week, Frank?
I've started watching Archer again from the beginning, and it's been Pam Poovey, the bigger girl. Yeah, she's got like the Lord's Prayer on her back with like scrawl marks, like marks like on her gun, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like marks on her back. And she does drifting with the Chinese in Chinatown. She's just ridiculous.
Isn't Aisha Tyler on that?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. And I can never remember the guy's name that plays the good-looking Archer guy, but in real life, isn't he pretty dumpy?
John Benjamin. Yeah, it's the same guy that does Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he kind of looks like David Tell. He's kind of small and he has that kind of receding
and just
hair.
So you know, there is a tiny bit of an echo. I think it might be either your headphones might be too loud or something like that. Just so you know, but it's barely. But I didn't want you to go all the way through the podcast without me saying something. You kick my ass later. Yeah, I saw that at your house the other day when I was over and saw you watching Archer. I was like,
Oh, I was. That's right. I was.
I need to go. I need to start watching more of that. I haven't really watched very much of it at all. But everyone talks about how good it is, so I'm gonna have to do that.
Archer.
So, yeah.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
I think it's like someone not watching The Sopranos to you. I'm sure. I promise I'll go do it though.
No, it's good. I mean, it's great writing, and it's just everything you'd want out of a serial, TV show.
Is there a particular thing that they said or did on the show that made you laugh hysterically?
No, it's one of the characters is Pam Poovey, and she's just she's relentless. She has no filter. She's a bigger girl, and she's like super psychosexual, and she's always
super aggressive.
She's always fucking. This episode. She's
always fucking.
Yes, and you hear about it and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, but she gets in this episode with Archer. And they're at a strip club, and there's this beautiful woman with these big boobs, and Pam's got big boobs, and her and Archer are drinking and all this stuff. And then Archer wakes up the next morning with the vision that he's had sex with this stripper, what he's had. And he's like, oh my God, he's talking to his butler. He's like, oh, Woodhouse, this is the best. I can't feel my legs. This is the best sex I've ever had. And it turns out it was Pam. And he busts in the bathroom door thinking it was a stripper, and it's Pam she's taking a dump.
By the way, I think I'm just going to make your night. She's on Twitter. She's actually on Twitter. Yeah.
That's
She's
awesome.
actually on Twitter. Yeah. I'm going to have to go watch the show. I was a future guest of ours that's going to be on the show here in the next couple of weeks. It's a podcast. They had our old friend Steve Cantwell on. And that actually his second appearance on their show. And if you don't know, folks, go to episode 1, Steve Cantwell, national touring comedian. One of the, best stories. He could be a shitty storyteller, and he's not. He's great, but his stories are so fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
that it doesn't matter. He is a great storyteller.
They sound fake.
They do.
They're absolutely real, and he's 100% a great storyteller.
And it's funny because I was listening to their podcast, and Steve gets on, and he says, when I came back from Hawaii and moved to Texas, and I said, I'm going to take this stand-up serious, he became an Uber driver. Mm-hmm. And so instead of just going down the street from one bar to the other, he would look on the Uber app and take the ones that are 30 minutes away that no one wanted to do, because they would make more money doing shorter trips. He would take the really long ones. And he would go out there, and everybody went, why are you doing that? He goes, because I've got a captive audience for 30 minutes. I get to work out material.
Right.
I was like, what a great idea. He's still making money, and he's got people trapped in the car, and he just tells stories and says them in certain ways and maybe little jokes here and there and finds out which things work and don't before he goes on stage.
Absolutely.
Now, that's funny, but that's not the funny part. So when he was an Uber driver, he would go pick up people 30 miles away, the furthest airport, the furthest place. And if he dropped anybody off at any hotel, didn't matter if it was the Hilton Gardens or if it was the Waldorf Astoria, it did not matter to him at all. When he would stop and let them out, he'd go, oh, you guys are staying here. Yeah, my ex-girlfriend used to stay here or work here. This place is haunted as shit. All right, you all have a good night. What's that?
I heard him tell that story.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was great.
He killed me with that. I was like, that is unbelievable. And I'll tell you something else that will make you laugh, and it pertains to our upcoming guest that we have in our waiting room. We'll get to here in just a moment. It's going to get weird. It's the podcast. It's going to get weird 369@gmail.com. I'm getting some sort of weird feedback. All right, everything seems to be fine here. I'm sorry.
Feedback or like a hum?
It's a hum.
I heard it.
I don't know why that shouldn't be happening. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine.
We're fine. It's not that pronounced over here. It'll be
good. That's the way I wanted to do. So I did a little research on our upcoming guest, and his brother was a singer in our band for a while, and we'll get to that I'm sure later too. So I called him over the weekend and got did a little research and got up some funny things to say about him or do to him, that kind of thing. And he said, I heard Charles Vanetti podcast, our podcast last time, I think episode 16, Tony Vanetti. It was last week's episode. He said when he was in the band with us, we were playing at TK's one night, the exact same bar that Vanetti was talking about on the podcast. He said he came up and gave away CDs like everyone does. And then he's named, we would play Name That Tune, which Tony talked about on the episode, on the thing too. Right. And so somebody starts playing, or he makes us play a song. And some guy yells out the wrong answer. And so then this lovely girl yells out the answer, Killing in the Name of. So exactly what it was. And he started to hand her a CD, and he goes, wait, aren't you fucking one of the guys in the band? And it was Chris's future wife. And his parents were in the audience meeting her for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty awesome too. I don't think. All right, well, we'll figure it out. It's fine. We'll go ahead. So anyway, I talked to his brother and got some stuff, and he has no idea that I don't know if he knows that I've talked to him, but let me get my note here right quick and make sure I say everything right. Are you ready? Would you let me do the intro first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't get all excited about it. Jesus, man. Oh, another thing that happened today. I met a guy that got hit by lightning.
That's
and he said one of the weird things that happened was he would go like one day.
Was that he got hit by lightning?
I think he said to me the weirdest thing that happened was that one day, just about 6 months later, I went to dinner and I could literally hear what everyone was saying. I mean, there's a party in another room at the other end of the restaurant. And he's like, oh, somebody's celebrating a birthday. He's like, oh, they just got engaged. Oh, and then he said he could smell every food being cooked. And he said, and the weirdest one was like, somebody here forgot to put on deodorant. And I was like, that's the weirdest thing, not you getting hit by lightning.
Aren't those things you can already do with a regular nose and regular ear? I can smell all the food they're cooking in the restaurant. I can smell that somebody doesn't have a deodorant on. I can hear that it's someone's birthday party in the back. Oh yeah, because they're yelling "Happy birthday, motherfucker!"
What the fuck would they be doing there on a Tuesday at the Mexican restaurant in the separate room?
Right.
It's not a bar mitzvah.
Right. It's not the Elks Lodge.
No, that'd be bingo. It'd be bingo.
All right, let's bring him in.
All right, let's bring in our guest. He is an old friend of ours. He has been in a band with Frank. He's been in a band with a bunch of people that we know. Currently,
I've known him since we were kids.
I did not. Oh, that's right. You all played baseball together.
Yep, me and his brother. Yeah, absolutely.
Played baseball together. Yeah. He is recently an author of all things. He's written a book. It's called Left When Nothing Goes Right. It's available on Amazon. We're going to talk about it right now. We're going to bring in our close personal friend, Chad Donohue.
Let's see if Chad's going to come in, talk to us. You know, this isn't his first book, I don't think.
Well, we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe if this son of a beast thing ever gets in here with this connecting audio.
I'm trying.
Oh, my God.
You know, he's been sitting in the waiting room for like 10 minutes.
Can you see me?
No.
Nope. There we go. Hey, there he is.
Yep. Is that where the magic happens right there?
Oh, look at that.
Which side of the bed is your what side do you sleep on?
So, yeah.
What side do you sleep on?
I'm like Michael Scott. I got the little bench at the end of the bed.
Okay.
Jan's bench at the end of the bed. That's a great episode. The dinner party. Or, yeah, I think that's what it's called. It is about a dinner party on The Office that he's talked about.
Good to see you, Chad. Good to see you.
Great to see you, my man. How are you doing? Couldn't afford a microphone, huh?
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to use the microphone off these headphones. It's not working very well. So let me see if I can fix this.
We can still hear you. You don't have to mess with it. I'd rather talk
No,
about.
you can mess with it if you'd like.
I'm not going to stop. What am I going to do? Stop you? And first of all, that is not your bedroom. I guarantee that's your guest bedroom office.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to come back in now.
And there is absolutely no way that is your master bed. I guess we can't even say master bedroom anymore. That is not your main bed.
Primary
bedroom.
Why is there no way that's his bed? That's their bedroom.
Turn your shoulder a little bit.
No, I mean, but tell me why. No, I want you to tell me why, Scott.
Because there's nothing on that nightstand.
Who cares?
No one. Go to your nightstand right now. I guarantee there's shit on it. I go to my nightstand. There's shit on it. At least my charger or something. And no one makes their bed like that every day either.
Maybe they never sleep.
Was that a butterfly pillow?
Maybe they're never sleeping.
That's a butterfly pillow. Yeah, it's the guest room. You got me.
Whatever.
Boom.
I'm not. Scott's judgmental.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I have a question. I got a question. I've been struggling with this for 3 days since Frank reached out. And I mean this sincerely. Why me?
Well, we know.
I have to offer?
Well, okay. I was asking myself that as well. But then I thought he's got a book. This is your second book, as far as I know, correct?
Yeah.
So
it is, yeah.
And your book just came out, and if we hadn't had people booked up until now, we would have had you when it came out. So we had 3 or 4 people kind of booked over a month's period. So we would have had you before now, But we
say we haven't had them.
Right. So
right.
So kind of describe real quick how we know each other, how you and I know each other, and then we'll kind of bring us into the adult world, if you could.
So Frank was Frank the Tank long before it was in vogue to say that. He was Frank the Tank at Beachmont in the South End, and I don't know what, late 70s, early 80s.
70s, 80s.
And he was a few years older than me, and was always the big guy that either struck out or hit a home run. I mean,
absolutely.
I think there were never any Texas leaguers with you, man. It was either fence or bench. But Yeah, so I feel like, you know, just it was kind of a tight knit community at Beachmont out in the South End, and we all just kind of gravitated to each other.
Yep.
And I think your sister was really good friends with one of my aunts.
Yeah. Jill.
And so there was a
And
connection
Joan.
there. Joan, yeah, Joan and Jill. My mom's part of all the J's. Joan, Jill, Judy, Jeanette,
Absolutely.
Joyce. One of that, yeah. When that was popular to do. Back.
Then they did the cheese with your.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel does the same thing. His family.
So,
So I feel like I've known you forever, and I guess almost practically have.
Yeah.
40 years of my 48, and then and Scott. I guess, you know, I fell in love with Scott in the Whatever Wheel days, and
I think it was the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. I think there was a Chuck Berry song.
Yeah, I locked you in the trunk and you cut your hand. I can't remember exactly.
Oh shit!
The book is called. Go ahead.
No, go on,
I was
please.
gonna say the book again. And we're gonna say this a million times. The book is called Left When Nothing Goes Right. It's available on Amazon. You can get it on your Kindle. It's only $14.95. The reviews on it are amazing. I haven't had a chance to read through it all. I did read some of the first chapter. You can always do. I did want to point out the reviews are amazing. I mean, you have really touched some people, and we'll talk more about the book. But I did want to point out something funny. Customers also bought women's Crocs, which I find very odd. That if you buy this book, people that buy this book, they like buying women's Crocs. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't know who's shopping for this book, honestly, based on that mega tag. But yeah, reviews, seriously, you know, you guys have you've done it with the music thing and other ventures. And Scott, you've been on the radio and had 10 different careers, and you just you never really. I don't mean it as a dig. I mean, you're constantly trying to find yourself and put yourself out there, but it's risky and it's a little nerve wracking, and you throw it out there and you don't know how people are going to respond. And kind of like I was with this show earlier. I'm like, why do these guys want me on the radio? You know, why does anybody want to listen to me for a few minutes? And so you start to have that self-doubt.
It's a storytelling podcast. I mean, if you got good stories and you're a funny person, that's really what the show is. It's called It's Gonna Get Weird because we say uncomfortable things in uncomfortable moments to get it really weird, and we love that. I mean, you've known us long enough to know that there's pretty much nothing off the table. Unless we do ask you something you don't want to answer, that's fine too. But and that's the whole point. So no, we're actually thrilled to have you because we've known you forever. We know how funny you are, and you have a book out, and we meant to have you on a long time ago, like Frank said. And trust me, more than one person has asked for us to book you on the show.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm flattered. I'm really flattered. I'm flattered about the reviews. Again, you just don't know how people are going to receive something like this, but they've been super favorable, and that's just the most favorable ones that I find that endear to me are the ones of people that don't know me. They're friends of friends or people that have had a referral, and I've had people there was a lady that reached out to me from London. I don't know how she got wind of it. That's the power of the machine that is Amazon, right? And she wrote a dissertation about how she read it in one sitting, and it brought back all these memories, and she reached out to her daughter that she hadn't talked to in a while because of my book, and it was just crazy stuff. And I'm like, all right, wow, this is, even if I stop right now, then I think I've succeeded, because that was the goal with this thing.
Now, was this something that was a long process, or is this something that you decided to tackle now that you've got some time between it and now?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the first part of that is, yes, it was a long process. I started writing it in 2013.
Okay.
And then it's a memoir. So I wrote it when all these things that I was struggling with were fresh on my mind. And then it actually got a little, without getting too deep, got a little too painful to complete.
Right.
I was having nightmares. I was reliving things. I was just more moody than normal, my wife would say. And so I just tabled it. Up until COVID hit. If there's, we've had so many negatives about COVID. This could be one of the positives. I actually, like you just said, Frank, found time to finish this thing. And the moral of the book, or the lesson from the book, is basically that when you feel like all hope is gone, it's not, and you get through it, and great things can happen, because I'm in the best situation I feel like I've been in my life, and I wouldn't have said that 10 years ago.
Right. And I asked that because, I know that doing anything in the midst of a very heartbreaking kind of trauma period or experience, that you're in kind of just a weird little bubble, and no matter what you do, you can't concentrate. So I didn't know if it was something that you picked up and went full bore, and it's it really makes a lot of sense that you tabled it and came back now and finished it.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. That's how it was. My whole world for about a year was just one bubble. And I talk about it in the book. I talk about I would leave the hospital for my twins just to regain some sanity. I'd go to Kroger and get whatever, and the lady would be there like, "Oh, have a nice day." And
you're like, "Go fuck yourself, lady."
Yeah, like, yeah, have a nice day. I got kids in the hospital dying. I got this going on. My world's been turned upside. You want me to have a nice day? And then I'd take a step back and like, oh my God, I'm actually upset over other people's happiness. I mean,
Right.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
So it was one giant bubble. But you know what? The beauty of my story is it's not unique. It's not.
No.
I mean, the twins that I went through, the events.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, everyone can relate to this. It's whether it's premature babies, or it's cancer, or someone dies in an auto accident, or depression, or it's all these things. Anyone can relate to the concept behind. Now, the details of my story are specific, but
right.
the overall concept is a general. It's a general struggle.
And for people that are listening, we're going to get into it. We're going to get a little thumbnail from Chad about what the book's really about. And we'll keep continuing to say it's also available at Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. You can probably get it anywhere. It's called Left.
Sorry, Scott. You can get it at Carmichael's too.
Carmichael's locally.
I would love to. Yeah. I would love to patronize those guys.
Yeah.
Where's Carmichael's? What road? If anybody local.
There's one in Lexington. Yeah, okay. Lexington, and then there's one in Highlands. Just
Left when nothing goes right, and and we're going to talk about some serious stuff tonight, but we're always going to have some humor in here. You got three funny people, a tragic story. I think sometimes humor does come from tragedy. I've heard there's a lot of funny stuff in the book. I'll tell you this: when I first got the Facebook thing, or the little ad, are you promoting it yourself? When you first put the book out, it said "Left when nothing goes right." I mean, it's right in the middle of the election. It's during a pandemic, during the election. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Have we lost another one? What the hell? No, please don't. And they're like, oh, you got to check out this book. And I'm like, fuck that book. As soon as I saw it. And then I figured out what it was. I was like, oh, shit, I'm a son of a bitch.
It's the fine print that Scott's not a fan of.
Yeah. Chad, give us a thumbnail of the story about your wife and the twins, and just kind of what the book is about. And we can trust me, I've got a lot of questions about the book and about your experience. So give us a little thumbnail about what the book's about.
Yeah. So in the fall of 2010, you're gonna make me do my math. We found out we were pregnant with just super ultra rare twins. Basically, you have 4 different sets of twins, and ours was the one right before conjoined twins.
Wow.
Which is the PC way of saying Siamese twins. Yeah, which is, it's a whole different animal. But there's a 50% mortality rate. It's the highest of high risk. My wife had to be in antepartum we were hoping for 3 months prior to the pregnancy. We didn't make it to our March due date. As a matter of fact, our boys were born on late December. So they were 27 weeks, which is 13 and a half weeks early. Yeah, you've seen the pictures of preemies. Those were my kids. They look like little birds, and skin was translucent. You could see their veins. Nothing was fully developed. And it just started a 5-month NICU stay where we just essentially lived in the NICU. And I failed to mention that we had a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old at home at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So and so we talked a little bit about it a minute ago. I went from being proud father of potentially 5, living on top of the world, got a loving wife, everything rolling for me, to just one or both these kids could die. If they do live, they're gonna have some disabilities that have already been diagnosed. To what extent, we didn't know. Still don't really kind of know. And so it just started this influx of emotions. And the book talks a lot about my struggle with hope and perspective, because I talk about how when someone has hope, they kind of become blind, right? They don't really listen to the readers of the tea leaves, or they don't listen to the experts. We happen to have the nation's foremost expert on these type of births, and a doctor called Dr. Puri here in Louisville, and he would say one thing, and he could, this is an example, he could say, flat out say, your son's going to die in 3 weeks. He may live till December, and then Ryan and I'd be like, oh, he's going to live till December at least. We would take whatever positive, like this guy, or we would say, this guy's wrong. What's he know? We're going to prove him wrong because we're doing all the right things. So anyway, it just talks about that struggle, and it talks about how I was distant from my kids, that, I wanted to be with them, but I'm talking about the kids at home. And I basically lived at the hospital. I wanted to be there for my wife, but yet I couldn't even get myself straight and things like that. And you mentioned the word left. It was originally called Nicubitis, but my editor thought that was a little too specific. She thought that I would be able to get more potential buyers and readers if I made it a little more general. The word left is actually a word called a contronym, which a contronym is a word with, by its own definition, is the opposites of each other. So the word left means it left or departed, and the word left can also mean it remained. And so, we had this I struggled with this division all throughout the book, and these contradictions. So that's why I went with the word left. It had nothing to do with the cigarettes Scott smokes or
lefties.
Political affiliation. Yeah.
Check out the big brain on Chad.
I'm only the second smartest guy on this call right now. I can guarantee you that.
Frank's pretty smart. He's also the second funniest human being I know, so that hurts as well. So you're shit out of luck, buddy. How many books have you sold?
I haven't checked.
Roughly. Like the last time you don't have to check right now.
Probably like 300, I guess.
It's your second book. So that's kicking. I didn't even know that you wrote.
So my first book was a children's book. After I don't want to give it away, but after I went through the experience I did, I decided I wanted to memorialize my kids that I have. And so one way I thought would be cool to do it, when we were kids, our parents say, you make that face, it's going to freeze that way, or if you eat that, you're going to turn into that. Yeah. So, these are common sayings for a reason. These kids are crazy. So they would do these crazy antics, and I wanted to remember that forever. So I thought, I'll make each one of my kids a character in a children's book. And the first book was called Flapjack Jane, because my daughter Jane loves pancakes, and it talks about how this kid eats so many pancakes she turns into one.
I used to call a girl I know Flapjack Jane. Different reasons, though.
Yeah, that was my double secret password for anybody that I needed. That I said, if somebody comes up, they're not on the guest list, and they say they're supposed to be on the guest list, they're going to say the word flapjacks. It's been my secret password to get in backstage my entire career. I've used that password. It's not my internet, because I said flapjacks to too many people, but flapjacks, it's fun to say. Flapjack.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Flapjack Jane. Yeah. So that was that was our first.
Was that the
endeavor?
Their Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
Flapjack Jane. Yeah. Flapjack Jane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I keep interrupt.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right. Now you just had your own deadline, so you didn't have like any kind of. You just did your whenever you wanted to do it. That's awesome. And the title cracked me. As soon as I saw it, I didn't know what to do about that. Now, speaking of, you're talking about children. Let's go back to your childhood, and I've got some news, or I've got a little story here. There's apparently your old soccer coach Tim Burke. Apparently he touched you. Oh wait, I'm reading that wrong. No, he was touched by the book. I thought it said he touched you. I thought it was a whole different story. You can talk about that though. So you had a soccer coach that got the book.
Is that DeSales?
I can show you. Yeah, it was at DeSales. I'll show you on the doll where he touched me, just like in court. Show me on the doll.
Show me on the book.
That's right. I tell you what, Scott. Beside the lady from London, who I didn't know, Coach Burke's note to me. He private messaged me about this book with just, I mean, I found myself in tears. This guy went out of his way to contact me and tell me how much he was moved by this book. Again, said he read it in one setting. He's already bought 5 copies. He's shipped them out to people. I mean, he's just really moved by this. He asked me if I'd sign it, and he'd bring my son Owen out to sign it. So we rode out to his house and masked up and, you know, did the distance thing and signed it. And it just.
And then he said, "Who are you again?"
Yeah. I had to take my shirt off, and he's like, "Oh, Chad, good seeing you." Yeah. You've grown.
In all the right places.
Yeah.
You're all bulbous like a moose.
You still look like your brother Chris. Now you mentioned Jake and Owen. Tell us about, because you know we only got a little bit into the book, but I at least think it deserves some respect to at least tell part of that story about Jake and Owen and how Owen's doing now.
Yeah, so they were identical twins, and Jacob passed away in May of 2012, and then it's weird. So I talk about this in the book too. Our mind was so focused on Jacob this entire time because he was the most severe of the two, right? I mean, he had cerebral palsy, he couldn't swallow, he had to get a tracheotomy. We considered all these different things. Meanwhile, here's his brother, who's just born just as early, who also had a brain injury, who also has infantile spasms and had chronic lung disease. You know, he wasn't, you know, essentially a picture of health and stuff. So I felt guilty. I talk a little bit about that, but once Jacob passed, we turned our attentions to home. We're like, oh my God, here's a kid that he's fighting too. You know, he's not. So over the past 7 years, he's endured physical therapy and occupational therapy, speech therapy 3 days a week. Past 6-7 years, he didn't walk till he was almost 4. He had a neurosurgery, very invasive neurosurgery in 2008. Where, man, you guys talk about the modern medicine. It's unbelievable. Yeah. They made a scar in the base of his spine, took 2 of his vertebrae out, didn't replace them, which seemed kind of weird. They're like, you won't need them. And,
did you get to keep them?
I know I should have, right? Yeah. Coach Bird got one of them. That was kind of weird. He asked for it. That's
keychains.
Really weird. To the Ziploc.
Yeah. Keychain. Yeah. So yeah, but it's
a roach clip.
They pulled his vertebrae out, and they find all these. Think of like a MacGyver, and there's all these wires. You got to know which ones to cut before the bomb explodes. They literally test with these nerves, and they're like, "Oh, that's a bladder. Oh, that's the penis." Oh, they could tell by the stimulants in the brain what of each of these wires or nerves.
So they got all the things on him.
They got him all. Yeah, he's got the nodes on, and yeah, man, it's crazy. And so they find the ones that are causing the tone on his left side of his body, and they sever them. And it goes from high tone to just relax, and now we got to build his muscle back up. It's just amazing.
You mean high tone, like his muscles are totally flexed?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. So he walks up on his toes. His left.
Gotcha.
He's kind of jacked up, but ain't that unbelievable? And so but it's permanent. So if you sever the wrong nerves, then that's it. But we went to St. Louis for that. That's when he was 5 or 6, and he was in a wheelchair. They said he'd be in a wheelchair 3 to 4 months. He was in it for 3 weeks. The kid wanted to walk, and we've got it documented. But listen, guys, I know everyone's got their kid out there, and their kid's the best, and they're his favorite kid, and my kid can do no wrong. This kid is something else. He is just never not smiling, happy to be here. He'll run a race, finish last place, like, at least I didn't fall down. Talking about a positive. Right. We can learn.
I'm gonna have to stop making fun of my wife for watching Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. I saw that episode. I was like, damn, they can't do that shit. Apparently they can. Why is he moving his left leg? What you got?
My wife said you're gonna make fun of me because I'm drinking champagne.
Not at all, buddy. Bubbles are the best. Shit.
Champagne is the best.
There's a brand called Nicola Foy. I can't promote brands on here. I like champagne. I'll leave it at that. There's one in France that has an N and an F in it that is the #1 champagne in France, and it's amazing. So try it.
And it's relatively cheap, right? Is that the one I'm hearing?
The one I am, yeah. It's like about $30 a bottle.
Yeah.
And it's badass. Anyway,
nice.
I wanted to Frank and I both spent quite a lot of time in hospitals with our parents. And there's nothing like, I mean, I don't know about you, Frank, and I don't know about you, Chad, but I can't even stand the fucking smell of a hospital. I walk in a damn doctor's office smells like a hospital to me. And that, for some reason, I'm like, there's that smell. I mean, I see people that come out of a hospital and I can smell it on them. You know what I mean? There's something about a hospital that smell alone drives me insane.
Yeah. I actually dedicated almost a chapter to that, just that alone, Scott. Just you can almost sense. You can taste it. You taste it, the sterilization. You can feel it. Your hands get cracked and dried. And it's even worse when you're in the normal rooms of the hospital. Then you go into the NICU where it's like Fort Knox. You got to wash your hands 3 and 4 times, and then they put the clothes on you.
Think about that.
It's even worse. You go in, and all the nurses are hovering over these little pods. It's like futuristic. It's crazy, this NICU, man. And that was our home for 4 months. I hate it. I hate the place. And that's, going back to contradiction, here I hate a place that's literally saving my kids' lives. And so, I'm like, how can I hate this place? These guys are saving my kids' lives.
I hate going here, but what am I going to just let my dad sit there by himself?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just crazy. You almost have to go.
They just represent where trauma, where traumatic events are happening in your life. So nobody wants to go back.
But it also represents recovery. I mean, some people get out of there.
I don't know people who celebrate the hospital. I mean, unless, it's like the people who worked in the hospital were so good. I mean, when you want to get out because it represents this pain that's happening and this this upturn and emotions that are happening to you. I hate them. I mean, I don't have an issue going in them, but yeah, it's nasty.
Frank, what was your go-to food at the hospital? Either vending machine or there was something you might have found at the cafeteria that you liked or you brought with you. What was your go-to food when you went to the hospital?
There was none.
Chad?
Pudding.
Pudding.
Pudding. It was like this little chocolate, with the little.
Wait, you stealing your kids' pudding? No, you like the one down at the cafeteria?
I heard you mention Bill Cosby on one of your other shows. You can't. I don't think you can talk about
with the jello pudding in the pot and stuff on the with the baby Jake and and I'm gonna steal his pudding pops. Oh, that wasn't half bad. But first of all, my favorite thing during that time was booze. I would literally sneak booze in there because my dad was asleep half the time, or he's under, and I've got some TV or I'm watching my iPad. I was just sitting there bored out of my skull. So I just had a little nip in the bag. I think actually when Frank's mom was in the hospital, I brought him a bag with some booze in it and like some porn or something else. I don't know if there was porn in there, but I did bring you a book and I brought you booze. I do remember that, a book and booze. But so now, do you keep a go bag in your house, like ready? I found that after my dad's hospitalization, I was there. I just always had a bag.
Bug out bag.
Bug out bag. I mean, I literally have 2 of them. Do you have a bug out bag? Do either one of you?
Fuck no.
No, I don't. I mean, there for a while when it was a little more dire, we did for sure. I mean, we had a sitter on call. We were ready, but Owen's been medicine free for about 3 years. He's been seizure free for 4.
How old is he now?
I think he's 9. He's 9. This has been 9 years. Yeah. So I think, we're as far as I think anything outside the norm, falling, cracking your skull, stitches, appendicitis, things that anybody would go to, we're out of the woods.
I still keep one. I don't know why. I still keep one. It's basically just, I've got 2 bags, kind of one for work. Hey, look out there, Frank. I have one for work and for when I do work trips, because they can come up, or I'm just always ready. So I can.
I still wear 2
underwear, t-shirt, shirt, and I'm ready to go. So I've got headphones, I've got chargers, I've got something to read, something to do. All I got to do is take my iPad, throw it in, and I got 2 of them. So if I ever get to go on a trip or last minute something, or I got to go help somebody, whatever it is, I'm ready to go, man. And I think I get that from being there that long. Now I want to say, and I mean, I'm not trying to do a one-upper, but I was in there like 4 months. Frank,
pain.
How long? Yeah, a pain poacher. I'm a grief poacher. It's a term I have. Those people that go, sorry about your dad. Sorry about your dad. My dad passed away too. They're grief poachers. They want to talk about their dead dad more than your dead dad.
Like what you're doing.
Yeah, like what I'm doing right now. No, how long were you living in that hospital? How long? Yeah, that's for you. How long were you living in that house? Yeah.
Oh,
no, the other guest on our show.
Well, you mentioned Frank and his mom. I didn't know if you were going back to me. So yeah, we moved in. We literally moved in. The Ronald McDonald House that's on the property at Thornton Suburban has rooms for people like us. Well, Ryan was there in November, just antepartum, and then we didn't leave until late April. So 5 months, right? Yeah, 5 months.
How did she fare during all of this, being the mother?
Yeah. So she had different struggles, right? And I talk that's a great question, Frank. And I talk about some of that in the book too. Here I am, I'm struggling with all this, and yet on top of everything I'm feeling, she feels the same thing, except
they came out of it.
She feels guilty. Yeah, she feels guilty. For the first month and a half, she couldn't even hold them. They were too fragile. So there was never that, what they call it? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The bonding.
So I mean,
yeah, and so she still struggles. She hasn't read the book. She read the first few chapters. Like, I don't think I can do this. I'm like, that's not. Maybe next year, maybe 10 years, maybe never. I didn't really write it for her. She lived it. Actually, I wrote it for me. It was really just the book itself is surrounded by a bunch of blog journals that I'd written. Frank, you know about blogging. I read your blogs way back when that was the first cool thing to do.
I didn't know you blog.
Yeah, you're the first one to really. This is 15 years ago. You used to have a blog. I would read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back and see some of those.
Yeah, me too.
Awkward silence. That's my 10-year-old. Awkward silence.
I mean, but it really seems like a tough row to hoe for her. I mean, just being physically the mother, and carrying the kids and the detachment and the loss. I mean, it's a whole. The whole thing is a nightmarish experience in my eyes. How I imagine it was, and I'm sure it's terrible for you, and almost as bad as her. I didn't know if there was a different experience that you all had gone through to where you were like, I can't even help her. You know what I mean? With whatever she's feeling and whatever pain is so big to her that, that's something that you probably couldn't even help with. You just have to just live with.
Yeah, you live with it. It's she's different now. I'm different. I don't think we're better or worse. We're just different. And she reminds me often that she didn't get out of her pajamas for the first 2 years after he died. I don't remember it that way, but there were some ups and downs for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but everybody handles grief differently. I dived into my other kids' lives and let's just make the best of what's left. And she was a little more remorseful for a while, and he's still part of our lives. I mean,
absolutely.
You ask any of my kids how many siblings they have. She's like, they'll say, I asked my daughter, I have 3 brothers and a sister, without hesitation. And that's something I actually struggle with. It's weird. Just tonight I was at a soccer game and I hadn't seen a lady in a while, and she came up. She goes, "How many kids do you have?" And I pause, and I'm like, Do I want to get into that? Because if I say 5, how old are they? And I gotta get in. Well, 1 back. Oh, I'm sorry. But if I say 4, then am I doing him an injustice by not even? I'm going to deal with that the rest of my life.
Yeah, there is no good answer for that.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy. I mean, I guess it's hard for. I mean, we can certainly feel for you. We understand, but I mean, Frank and I don't have any children that we know of. So I can't imagine it.
But you've experienced loss, and you've experienced loss, and that's all.
So are you saying loss is loss?
I think so. Yeah.
You do? You don't think there's maybe an enhanced version?
I think there are different. I mean, I think there are different models. Like different cars. There's the K car, and there's the Cutlass. There are different varying models of grief. I mean, I'm sure this one was the fucking El Dorado, of grief. The Hummer H3.
Yeah.
Shit, you're driving the president's beast.
Yeah. Jacob dying was like that was like an IROC scene in the 80s. And then Coach Burke touching me was more like, a key.
Nice callback. Very well played.
I mean, it was tragic, but
Like a cake.
I learned a lot. Hey, I learned a lot.
I wanted to bring up one other person in your life that I think needs to be spoken about. I don't want to go too deep or get you too sentimental, because that's really not what we do on It's Gonna Get Weird with Chad Donohue tonight. I'd like to bring up someone from your past. His name is, it's going to be painful.
Oh, God.
His name is Doug Bryant. Can you tell me about Doug Bryant?
I played baseball with Doug Bryant, too.
I started a fight with Doug Bryant when I was about 7. And my brother, Chris, very well, had to finish it. He got the shit beat out of him. I left unscathed. And my brother got in trouble for getting in a fight.
Yes.
Do you remember
I was scot-free.
That's the way.
Yeah, but we were playing basketball. I know there was a hard foul or something. I don't know. That's my memory of Doug Bryant.
Do you remember?
I'm sure I was wrong. I'm sure I was wrong. I've started many fights and that I didn't finish. You guys knew me in that part of my life. Drink a little too much. That's a Green Day song on stage with you guys.
What? Man, we were talking about this a while back. I was like, at some point you were like, I saw you and I'm like, man, that guy's going the wrong way. And everybody's like, oh, he's going the wrong way. And then all of a sudden, however many years later, it's like, you're a whole different person. No, I mean, in a good way. It's like you were like, all right, I get my shit together. It's cool that you kind of, because most people don't. When they party like we partied back in the day, and it's not just you, you at some point you go, okay, this is just what I'm going to do. Or like you did, you were like, at that point when I wasn't seeing you, you just jumped off. That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your brother said while he was getting punched in the face by Doug Bryant?
I don't. I mean, it was weeks ago. So
weeks ago.
Was he like, this is all your fault?
No, his words were, but little kids don't punch in the face. But little kids don't punch in the face.
Yeah.
But little kids don't punch in the face. He said he beat the snot out of him.
Well, Doug's a big guy. I haven't seen him in a long time. He was a bigger kid.
Yeah,
everybody's bigger than me.
He's big.
Oh, by the way, I did some research on him too. He's in prison. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
He was a good first baseman. He was a lefty.
Oh, you got to love a left-handed first baseman.
I feel like I remember that too. Yeah,
that's a good start to a double play.
He was I think 1 or 2 years younger than me. 1 year, because I played on a team with him once.
And then let's dive one more deeper. Since your brother said that he's been in 2 fights in his life, and you started both of them. Something about Churchill Downs and a very large gentleman.
Oh yeah, God.
You trying to ruin the guy here?
No, I'll tell the story if you don't remember it.
Yeah, I could. I go ahead. Go ahead and embellish.
Said you all were at Churchill Downs, and you started mouthing off to like the biggest guy in the infield. I think you all might have been at Derby. Yeah. And then you all started to get into a fight, and you all are getting ready to go to blows. And Chris jumps in between the two of you and is like, no, guys, there's no fighting. And somebody just sucker punches him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
He goes right to the ground, and then somebody kicks him in the face.
Oh, God.
And
damn.
He stands up, and he's like, all right, which one of you sons of bitches kicked
me? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Boom, and he gets hit a couple more times. And then when he finally gets done getting his ass kicked, he looked over, and the huge guy that you had tried to start the fight with is holding you on the ground going, you don't want to fight me, man. You don't want to fight me, man. Really, just calm down. Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked. It's pretty bad over there, but you don't want to fight me, man.
You're right. It got weird.
It always does. It's going to get weird. Is the name of the podcast. Frank Green, Scott Clark, showing about Chad Donohue, the book Left When Nothing Goes Right. Available at pretty much anywhere you want to go. What was the name of the bookstore here?
Carmichael's. Yeah, Carmichael's bookstore. Yeah.
I mean, Amazon still sells books, right?
Yeah. Hey, you want to hold on? Let's take a quick. Let's duck out for a minute for a break, and come back.
Hey, metalheads. I'm Mark, and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to all of our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor or a partner on the podcast, It's Gonna Get Weird, Frank Green, Scott Clark. Our email is itsgonnagetweird369@gmail.com. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, subscribe there if you will, and remember to subscribe, rate, review, and tell a friend. That's how we get things going with the podcast. We're joined by Chad Donohue, the author of the book, Left When Nothing Goes Right. And I think the first question I'd like to ask is we do rapid fire questions that are goofy as shit because we always like to make it get weird. Who's your favorite member of KISS?
It's
No
gotta be
one.
Gene Simmons. Yeah. Do I have to say someone?
I mean, that guy right there.
Yeah. It's gotta
Or
be
that
Gene.
guy, or that guy up there.
You know, I saw you dressed up like Gene Simmons at one of the shows on Baxter.
It was Frank's birthday when he was playing.
That's right. That's why I was
Ugly
there.
for a
Yeah.
reunion.
And I
It
didn't know
wasn't
who
my
you
birthday.
were.
It wasn't my birthday, Scott. I was just playing.
Everybody, it's always your birthday. That's the joke.
It's your birthday.
That was the reason for me dressing up for that. You said, why are you dressed? Why'd you come to the show dressed up as? No one knew who I was. That was the best part.
I didn't know.
I mean, I had to-
didn't recognize.
Me either.
You told Tiffany, he's like, get this fucking Gene Simmons guy away from me. And I had to go in and go, dude, it's Scott. It's Scott Clark. I mean, one of my best friends, Eric Otto, was there, and I stood next to him for 5 minutes, and he sort of gave me a look like, you got a problem? And I was like, hey, it's me. He's like, me who? And I was like, the guy from Moncton. It's like an old inside joke. He's like, holy shit, is that you, Scott? Yeah, I did dress up like Gene Simmons. Yeah, that was fun.
Doug Bryant was there. I almost punched that motherfucker.
You should have.
and then Chris jumped in and got his ass kicked.
Yeah. Chris wasn't there. That's why I didn't do it. Yeah.
Little
I
kids
thought.
don't punch in the face. Little kids don't punch in the face. If you could be any tree, what would it be? I'm kidding. Frank hates it when I do the tree thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do this thing called Slang Book.
Oh, yes.
You remember Slang Books, Chad? Like the girls would like 4 or 5 pieces of paper and they'd staple.
My
them
kids do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and like what's your favorite color and all that stuff. We called them Slang Books. So I'm just gonna kick a bunch of questions now. Unfortunately, I can't find my questions that I had for this. So I'm just gonna kill you with a bunch. Wrangler or Lee?
Wrangler.
Packers or Patriots?
Tom Brady Patriots or
Packers or Patriots?
Patriots?
Weirdest place you've ever taken a shit?
Iroquois Park. Baby. like everyone else on this podcast.
Okay. Jay-Z or Wu-Tang?
Jay-Z.
All right. I don't know about that.
Have you seen his wife?
Yeah. Have you seen the Wu-Tang Clan's wives?
No.
Pork or chicken?
Chicken.
Oh, dude, I say it every time. You're giving up sausage. Don't forget you're giving up sausage. I know how much you like the meats.
Last time you cried?
Oh, earlier today.
You fucking pussy. Pet peeve. Biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, people that know you're supposed to merge and you go all the way to the end and then you cut.
No, I feel the exact same way.
Oh God, I hate them.
I can trust it. Or the people that speed up as you just passed them because they were going too slow.
Yeah.
All right. 2 out of 10 cats have 2 extra toes. How many of these cats, how many toes do the other cats have? So 2 out of 10 cats have 2 extra toes. How many toes do the remainder of the cats have?
I was told there'd be no math, man. So 8 times 5 is 40. 8. Wait, hang on a second.
Also, one more time. 2 out of 10 cats have 2 extra toes. How many toes do the other cats have? Total.
I don't know. Cats don't have toes.
80. Name a small bird that is indigenous to Africa and North America occasionally.
Humming bird.
What we were looking for was tits. Tits. Birds. Birds named tits. They're tits.
I knew it.
Hey, you see that tit bird?
Yeah, tit bird. What's the best advice someone ever gave you?
Best advice someone ever gave me.
Must have made a big fucking impact.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of, I want to say it was Rocky from Balboa when he says it's not how hard you get knocked down, it's how hard, whatever, get back up. Or what's the quote?
Sounds like
right?
you paid attention to that too.
What a jerk. Fucking Rocky.
It's not how many times you get knocked down. Fool me once. Can't fool the fuller. Guess what it was? Can't fool the
Six and
fuller.
1/2 dozen.
Won't get fooled again. Can't get fooled
The fool
again.
can't fool again. That's George W.
I love it. He was the best
Don't let your dick
for
ruin
jokes.
your life.
That's
That was an
it.
oddly
That's the best
specific.
advice.
Oddly specific.
DC cab.
Think with the top head. I don't know, man.
The cat was 80. 80 was the total number of
How
toes.
are we doing this? 5, 10, 20.
2 of the 10 cats have 2 extra toes.
Yeah, you can say.
So there's 8 cats left, and
Right,
all 8
right.
cats have all 10 toes. 80.
Why do they only have 10? I'm not a cat fan. Don't they have 4 legs?
I'm just talking about the fronts.
Oh,
Oh.
I was looking at the back. I'm like,
I'm joking.
It's 20 on the.
That was a good answer, though, right?
Yeah, I've never understood that shit.
I'm just talking about the front.
Can I ask a couple?
All right, I'm going to do my last one right here.
Okay.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh man, I gotta be nicer to all people. The Doug Bryants of the world, girls, with dicks too. It's no seriously. Just be kind. You don't know people's backstories or what kind of day they're having or mood they're in or who they just lost. Yeah, I was always. I mean, I've always been a pretty nice guy, but I was a dick sometimes.
But give everybody a clean
Remember you
slate.
being a dick.
Yeah, everybody gets a chance, man. Yeah.
Clean slate for everybody. Hey, yeah,
Even that guy that goes all the way to the end and merges in at the end.
Yeah. Hey,
Like
exactly.
that guy.
He gets the pass.
Thinking that you have to let him over. No, you son of a bitch.
No, but you're gonna slow the fuck down.
Yeah. Real quick, Chad, before I let Scott take over with his
Dumb questions.
with his question program.
Program.
Whatever happened to that girl, the English girl who was the au pair who used to come around whatever will that I was so in love with? Long brown hair.
Scott, does your wife listen to the show?
Never.
Scott did her, and then I lost interest.
Well, okay.
Oh,
I did. English.
Yeah, you did.
My wife knows I was a whore. English girl.
She's married, has 2 kids, lives in Spain.
Really?
True story. Yeah,
English girl.
I'll send you her Facebook profile. She's super sweet.
Sure would be
I remember the girl from Norway. I don't remember the girl from England.
Sure would be a shame if something happened to her. I mean, I'm just saying for real, like she got divorced.
Her name's Beth. She's the British girl I used to bring to all your shows.
Yeah.
And I
She was in
begged
love
her.
with Scott. Yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah.
me. I guess that probably did happen. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Frank. You son of a bitch.
Hey, no problem. I was just trying to find out what her Facebook page was. No, I'm just
Chad,
kidding.
off air,
I'll send it to you.
I want you to send it to me. I want to see who you're talking about. See if I
Yeah,
remember.
She's still super cute.
Don't
She's
send
super
it to him.
cute.
Don't send it to him.
I'm not gonna do anything. What the hell am I gonna do?
Cock
16
blocker.
years.
She's got a couple
I
kids
did.
anyway.
Maybe I did block some guys.
Hey, you know
I'm
what?
Sorry.
She's in Spain. I might even get when I get her a little bit closer. Then we'll start sharing
I
the
could
profile.
sing that lady from that song from Jaws right now. The lady from Spain. I would love if I knew the actual words.
All right, Scott, hit him with some.
All right, let's go. Let's start out fun. Which one of
All
your
right.
kids is your favorite?
Drew.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good.
Well,
That's good.
it's Tuesday. I had to look. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, Cotter or Barney
Carter.
Miller. Yeah,
Carter.
welcome back. Hey,
Oh,
Mr. Carter.
Connor. That's back when John Travolta was actually decent.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Laverne or Shirley?
Oh. Am I sober? And Laverne is a safe bet. Shirley's the one you want to just,
She is.
do what you need to do and then drop her off somewhere.
Absolutely.
All right. Love Boat or Fantasy Island?
Love boat.
The Love
Yeah.
Boat.
Yeah, man. Isaac will hook you up with a drink or two, and then you get this Admiral's daughter or whatever her name was.
Captain Meryl Steubing.
The Admiral's
Stubing's
daughter.
That
Captain's
would
daughter.
be no. Julie was the
Julie.
No, it was Julie's. It was the younger girl. Julie was the older.
Yeah, she
Julie's
was
the
like
girlfriend of
the
the Admiral. Yeah.
she was like the entertainment coordinator.
Yeah, the captain's
Yeah.
daughter was basically the stowaway prisoner.
Entertainment coordinator.
A
That shows
comedian.
like WWF wrestling, It's like one guy fights, he wins, the other guy comes back to win, and the other guy comes back at the end. Like the couples come on board, they're perfect, they fight, and then they fix it, and then they leave happy again. It's every episode.
It's classic 70s sitcom writing. You think about it because you had all the guest stars. It's no
Yeah.
different. It really is no different than Fantasy Island because everything was a fantasy. You had,
That's true.
one main character. You had the other, everybody had their own different character. And the other thing that always cracked me up is, I can't even think of his name, but the name,
Tattoo?
the title. No, back on Love Boat. I'm back.
Oh.
Hot Love Boat talk here on It's Gonna Get Weird. The ship's purser. I was like, what the fuck is a purser? I had to look that shit up.
They have an Did they have an ombudsman too?
Yeah,
it looks a lot
yeah.
like
Like a newspaper?
It looks a lot like Pusser. I don't know. This is really weird.
No,
Gopher. His
yeah.
name was Gopher.
Gopher. Gopher, yeah.
He was the ship's purser.
I mean, when you see Mr. and Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days do a guest spot on the Love Boat, and then you'd see him on Fantasy Island the next week, and then the Harlem Globetrotters would be on both. And then, of course, they did a Gilligan's Island. It's like you made a tour around the lot back then. The
Yeah, they went to
Metro
Hanna-Barbera
Goldwyn
and
Mayer lot, or Mary Tyler Moore lot.
Scooby-Doo, yeah. Now, Mary Tyler Moore, I would take her over Laverne and Shirley together.
Oh, I don't know.
Man,
I
she was
like me
fine.
some Rhoda, but on Mary Tyler Moore, you know who the hottest chick on the damn show was?
Yeah.
Betty White.
Oh, I'll have to look
Hotter
that
than
up.
balls, dude. Go back and go watch
Huh?
some of those episodes because remember she plays a sex bot, like a
Okay.
deprived, horny woman, and to see her play that and the way they have her dressed, and Betty White was a piece back in the day.
Mm.
I can see it.
But I mean, who am I kidding? Not bang Ed Asner, so who's crazy as all get out now. By the way, planes didn't hit the building. Government conspiracy. He has lost his mind.
He's lost the
Earther.
plot. Yeah, what do you expect?
All right, I got one. I'm gonna actually do a serious question, then hopefully we can, end on a more positive. Not this, I think this is actually a very positive question. Blah, blah, blah. I've ruined my nice, positive, sentimental question here. All right, what advice do you think Jake would give you right now?
I think that's easier than the greatest advice I ever heard. I think it's just live each. It's going to sound so cliche, guys.
That's fine.
Live each moment. Like, if we learned anything this past year and a half with COVID, that we just got to take it one day at a time and enjoy the little things.
Yeah.
You asked what last time I cried. It was earlier at my son's soccer game because there was a kid that has cystic fibrosis. He's smaller and not as healthy as everybody else on the field. And he got in the game and kicked the ball, and all the kids are cheering. Here's a bunch of 13 to 14-year-olds that are hormonal and, and going through all these different moods and just parts of their lives. And just to see them embracing this kid, I'm like, you know what? This is just awesome. And so, yeah, man, just appreciate the small things. If we open our eyes and look, they're everywhere. This is one of them for me tonight. Not that this is a small thing, but it's just laughing, being genuine, poking fun at each other a little bit. Actually, you guys took it easy on me. I appreciate that. But, I would think you'd say, Dad, appreciate the small things.
Right on.
They're everywhere.
Good answer. For everyone, everywhere.
Yeah, God bless us, everyone.
don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like Miracle on 34th Street.
Never seen it.
No, it's
Or
it's
a Wonderful World. What's a Wonderful Life?
No,
Life?
no, it's
Never seen that either.
It's a Christmas story.
Christmas.
God bless us, everyone, right? With Tiny Tim?
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Christmas Story is
Carol
when you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
I was
Carol
like,
Burnett.
I must have got a factory second Christmas Story.
A factory set. You must have got that off the street in New
It's
York.
got the director's cut.
It's a screener.
I bought that one from the guy at Thornton's along with a tracksuit.
You ever get one of the screeners that has the Chinese or Japanese writing at the bottom of it?
Yeah. And you see the time code running. You're like, this is quality.
Some guy walks by with some popcorn.
It's okay, thanks.
Some guy's banging an English chick in the front row.
Hey, I'm just gonna send that to Frank.
Oh, damn it.
Thank you.
I really have
Frank,
no
cheer
idea.
up.
I feel fucking terrible. I have no idea who you're talking about.
I'll
I'm
send
sure as soon as I see her, I'll be like, oh.
You have
Yeah.
you have a terrible memory anyway. It doesn't matter.
You are correct about that. You are definitely
So-
correct about that.
So you got any more pistachios for Chad here?
No, I wanted to finish on it, something positive about his son
That was great.
and tell him how wonderful I think the story is. And I can't wait. You know, I'm like you, because when I talked to your brother and he told me about, basically gave me the lowdown on the book.
Right.
And I was like, and he told me that Ryan, your wife, couldn't read it. She isn't ready yet. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I'm ready to read it. I mean, today is my late mother's birthday. And so, I mean, just even talking about the hospital starts getting me going. I literally, when I said I could smell the hospital, I can smell the hospital.
Yeah.
Right now, just thinking about it.
Why was she so late?
My mom?
Yeah, your late mother. What's all that?
Oh, well, I mean, they said, when did you lose your mom? I lost her. I know exactly where she is. She's back over there in a bottle.
That's my old hair joke. When did you start losing your hair? I'm like, I'm gonna lose it. It's in my sink. It's on my pillowcase. Okay.
I had a comb once. It's there too.
I haven't lost it.
All right, Frank. Here's one for you. This kid.
Oh my God.
Kid wants to play bass, right? So he goes to his dad and says, "Dad, I want to play bass." Dad forks out some money. He goes off to his lesson, comes home. His dad said, "Son, what'd you learn today?" He's all excited. "Dad, today I learned the E string." "Oh, I know, it's awesome." Next day, you see where it's going. He goes. Kid comes home. He's smiling. He's laughing. Dad said, "How'd it go today?" He goes, "It's great. I learned the A note. I'm really moving along." Dad said, "That's wonderful." Next day, kid comes home. Dad says, Let me guess. Today you learned a D." The kid said, "Nah, I had a gig."
It's not that good. God, I think we might end
I
it
couldn't
there.
I couldn't even get a sympathy laugh from Scott Clark.
No.
It really wasn't that good. It was terrible. In fact.
About as good as your guitar playing.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
He's talking to me.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't know if. Yeah.
You can make fun of me.
I'm not making
Can you
fun of
edit?
you.
Can you just edit this part? That was horrible. That was. I
It's like
tanked.
what does a last place team say to the next to last place team? "Oh, you're fucking terrible. You're terrible." Come on, Scott.
I know. It's like the.
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Right,
Chad,
that's good.
Chad, what do you call the guy that came in last in his class at medical school?
Mark Esterly.
No, you call him doctor. He's still a fucking
Oh,
doctor.
that's true.
That's the doctor you don't want.
I'm
He's
sorry,
still a
Mark.
fucking-
Sorry, Mark.
We all know Mark's a great doctor.
That son of a bitch.
Also wanted to point out that also there's a lovely sweater that people like if you buy this book on Amazon. It's some wobbly sweater, something like that. That was on the second things. I don't know how the algorithm works on that. Chad Donohue is the author, the friend, the father, the legend, old friend of ours, and very lovely to have him on the show. The book is called Left When Nothing Goes Right. It's available at Amazon. You can go to Carmichael's bookstore here locally and get it. It's on Lexington Avenue. Chad, I can't thank you enough. Is there anything else you'd like to promote? A new book, a new project, maybe your email address or Twitter or anything like that?
Yeah, thank you guys. Seriously, it's been a blast. Yeah, I mean, I have a website. If you guys want to order it from me, there's no shipping, no tax. It's
Right.
it's all handled through. It's just at chaddonohue.com. That's all it is.
Kick ass.
You can get it that way.
Can you get Flapjack Sally or whatever the fuck the thing's
Jane,
called on that?
Flapjack Jane.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get Pancake Lucy on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flapjack Sally. I want you in my plate.
I think you ought to, maybe think about doing personalized covers and personalized titles. You can do a Flapjack Sally or whatever the fuck, or Flapjack Jackie. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so ChadDonohue.com. Yeah, that'd be great.
ChadDonohue.com.
Yeah. I miss you guys. I miss your faces.
Miss you too, buddy.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll all get together and go out and see somebody, or get together, like, occasionally somebody that we like that plays, we'll all go see them together. Chad Donohue, again, the book Left When Nothing Goes Right is it's inspirational. It'll make you cry, and it'll also make you laugh, so don't forget about that. Frank, anything you'd like to promote?
No, I'd just thanks, Chad. Thanks, Scott. Short notice week. So yeah,
it is a short notice week. We got Thunder over Louisville happening this weekend. Nobody gives a shit. It's not really gonna. It is this weekend. It's not really going to happen. It's probably going to be virtual. Ain't nobody going to go out and do anything. It's no big deal. But if you want to get a hold of Frank or I, want to sponsor the show, or just ask us a stupid question, we don't care. We'd like to hear from you. It's going to get weird. 369@gmail.com. We're available on every social media platform, and you can get the podcast anywhere you get podcasts. And please do us a favor. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review. Tell a friend. It's going to get weird. I'm Scott Clark. That's Frank Green and Chad Donohue. Don't forget to go to ChadDonohue.com and get the book. See y'all next week. Gosh.